first of all, this is a basic rotational movement that also creates a little bit of extension in the lumbar area. I'm just going to pop the skeleton for you for a moment, Brendan.
That's not my hand.
What we're going to be doing is picking up the pelvis and rotating it, and at the same time extending the lumbar spine. And we do this almost always as a pulsed movement. You could do contract relax, but it's not very easy to do it. It's quite tiring to do it, waiting out the tension. So what you do is you want to roll this pelvis towards you until you can reach a hand, so you're actually hooking into the ACES. Make sure you're not lower down for obvious reasons, or higher up. You actually want to be on the ACES. And the other hand is going to give counter pressure on the lumbar area. And if you start with it on the opposite side of the spine to the other hand, and what you do is you get solid in your stance, and then you lean back and you roll this pelvis up towards you and give a little counter pressure down at the same time, and then release. You can move your hand a little higher. This creates a kind of pivot point that is going to bend and turn around, and you can do the same thing. And you can take this up really into the lower thoracics. And you can also do it with the hand on the same side as the lifting hand, and that gives you a slightly different kind of mobilisation. So you maybe get 3 positions on either side, so you'd have a total of 6. And what you do is you smoothly go to the end point, and maybe a little beyond, and then release. A nice, smooth, steady rhythm. Now it's important when you do this that your body position is good. You need to be square on, rooted in your legs, and the movement is not from your shoulders, it's actually coming from here. So I actually lean back a little bit to get the movement. You will very, very quickly tire if you start trying to lift with arm strength. So that, and you can finish that with a nice little bit of rocking, just to consolidate it. Now, you can get a similar but stronger stretch and mobilisation by bringing the leg into play. So what you do, the sequence is to get into position is quite important. The hand that's sort of more superior goes under just above the knee, so you can lift his leg and slot your lower hand in. So I'm now cradling just above his knee in the crook of my elbow and supporting the top of the thigh with my hand. Other hand goes on the lower back. Now, you need to think about that Lingong exercise we did this morning, where you come forward, keeping your back straight, because you're going to do exactly that. So 1, 2 to get into position, 3 there, and then I straighten from my hips, and I take him back, and you take back until you come to natural end point. And from there I can take the hip joint a little bit more into extension, and so open out. And this is a stronger psoas muscle stretch coming in, as well as the spinal mobilisation. And what I would do is take this into position, hold it for up to about 15 seconds, so somewhere between a pulsed and waiting out the tension, and then release it. And we'll do that maybe once, twice, no more than that. So how you get into that is quite important. So we'll just recap that. One hand under to lift, slot the leg in, so you've got that supported, and then fold and unfold. And people will vary how flexible they are. With some, when you're working with a ballet dancer or someone, you have to kind of walk halfway across the room to complete the stretch. You can, in this position, also get quite a nice stretch along the sort of gallbladdery line and through the gluteus medius by, from there, I change hands and then I just let the leg drop like that. And if I want to enhance the effect, I can just put a forearm onto gluteus medius, add a little bit of compression at the same time. And then we can go back. But the basic idea is simply to be able to get to this position and release. I'll just even him up. So, number one, support the ACIS, and then on the spine and roll the pelvis. 1, 2, 3. And the same on the hand on the other side of the spine. 1, 2, 3. Give it a nice rock. Get your hand in position. You can see how I'm setting up my stance. And particularly if you're working with a heavy person, be sure before you start lifting that you've engaged your leg muscles, your bum muscles and your tummy muscles. So you've got everything set up ready to take yourself up. A little extension. And if you want the extra one, you come down to there. But that's optional. And again, give him a nice little rock. Should I put one more in before you practice? No? Okay. Let's stop.
Can I ask about positioning the hand again on the back? Can you just go through for the first two? One side of the spine and then the other.
Okay. There's his spine.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter which side you start with. I was going to start with the hand on the opposite side. So the heel of the hand is just, you can feel the spinous processes, you're just a little bit lateral to them on the band of muscle. So what this is going to do on this side, as I roll the pelvis, it's going to emphasize the extension of the spine at that point. And then I can take the hand a little higher and a little higher. If I put the hand on the same side as the lifting hand, so the heel of the hand is again just a little bit lateral to the spinous processes, but now on this side, then it's going to emphasize the twisting of the spine. And we can do exactly the same thing.
How much pressure are you putting on your hand?
Enough that it's a real counter pressure to what I'm putting. So the pressure between the two hands is almost equal. So if I just have Jimmy again for a moment, I'm just going to pop the spine on your back again. With my hand on this side as I roll, it's going to emphasize that extension movement. If my hand is on this side, it's stopping the vertebrae rotating with the pelvis. So it's going to emphasize the twisting action. So wherever I've put my hand, it's going to create a little bit of that kind of movement, which of course is going to help to free up the facet joints very nicely. Okay, anything else before we go and practice that? Or would you like the next little section as well?
You want to do it today.
Yeah, let's put the next section into. This is a mobilisation technique for the thoracic spine. And what we're seeking to do with this technique is to create a series of little extensions and twists. Extension, twist, extension, twist. Right the way through the thoracic area. And what you do, you start around the lower thoracics. One hand goes your side of the spine like that, the other hand goes the opposite side, and you give a little pressure in to take out the slack, and then the hands push in opposite directions and also twist, just enough that you get a little spring in the spine, and then you release it. Come a little higher, sink in, hands move in opposite directions, add a little twist, and release. And you normally get about 3 or 4 of these. Sink, and release, and you can work back down. So you go just far enough that you get that little springy feeling in the spine, and go further. If you get the odd little clink, sort of crack or clunk, just don't worry about it. It's not significant one way or the other. Show you once again. Hand either side of the spine, fingers pointing in opposite directions. Sink in to take out the slack. Sink in further. Move the hands apart and add a little twisting movement. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Like that. And this very, very nicely will free up tightness in this part of the spine. Okay, so you've got 3 things to practice there. Lovely.